stop. Before you say a single word in English today, I want you to think about the last time you spoke or wrote something in English and felt that tiny little panic inside. That moment where you thought, wait, did I just say that wrong? You know that feeling, right? That uncomfortable silence after you speak, or that moment you hit send on a message and immediately wonder if it made sense. Well, here is something that might surprise you. Studies show that even advanced English learners repeat the same handful of mistakes over and over again. Not because they are not smart, not because they haven't studied enough, but because nobody ever explained these mistakes in a way that actually stuck. Today, that changes. Welcome to the Daily English Lab podcast. I am so glad you are here because this episode is going to be one of those videos you save, share, and come back to again and again. If you have been learning English for any amount of time, whether that is 6 months or 6 years, there is a very good chance you are making at least 3 of the mistakes we are going to talk about today. And the beautiful thing is, once you understand why these mistakes happen, fixing them becomes almost automatic. My name is Victor, your host here at Daily English Lab Podcast. And this channel exists for one reason: to make English feel less like a subject you study and more like a skill you actually live. Every single week, we break down real English the way real people use it, with clear explanations, practical examples, and zero boring textbook language. If you are new here, welcome to the family. And if you have been here before, you already know what we do. We go deep, we keep it real, and we make sure you leave every video a better English speaker than when you arrived. So here is what we are covering today. We are going to walk through 7 of the most common mistakes English learners make. Mistakes with articles, prepositions, verb tenses, subject-verb agreement, and more. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what these mistakes are, why your brain keeps making them, and most importantly, how to train yourself to stop. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. Drop a comment right now and tell me, what is the one area of English where you feel the least confident? Is it speaking, grammar, writing, vocabulary? Let me know below because your answers actually help me plan future episodes. And if you find this video helpful, a like and a subscribe means the world. It helps this channel reach more learners just like you. All right, let us get into it. Let us start with something that causes headaches for English learners all over the world: articles. Specifically, the difference between a, an, and the. Now, you might be thinking, I know what articles are, but knowing what they are and using them correctly are 2 very different things. Here is the core idea. You use a or an when you are talking about something for the first time or when it's not specific. You use the when both you and the listener already know which thing you are talking about. Think of it this way. A and an say, here is something new, while the says, you know the one I mean. Here is why this matters so much. Articles change the entire meaning and natural feel of a sentence. When you leave them out or use the wrong one, native speakers understand you, yes, but something feels off, like a song played slightly out of tune. Now here's where most learners go wrong. Many languages, including Arabic, Russian, Japanese, Chinese, and many African languages do not use articles at all, so your brain simply does not have a built-in habit for them. You either skip them completely or you guess and get it wrong half the time. Let me give you some real examples. If you say, I want to buy a car, a native speaker knows what you mean, but it sounds immediately unnatural. The correct version is, I want to buy a car, because you are introducing the idea of a car for the first time. Now imagine you already talked about the car. You would say, the car I want is quite expensive. See the difference? Or think about this. She is best student in the class. That sounds wrong. It should be, she is the best student in the class, because there is only one best student, so we both know which one we mean. Here is one more. I had a sandwich for lunch. The sandwich was amazing. First time, a sandwich. Second time, same sandwich, the sandwich. Now here is your practice moment. I want you to pause right here and fill in the blank. Ready? I saw blank movie last night. Blank movie was really scary. Say your answer out loud. Did you say a movie the first time and the movie the second time? If yes, you are already getting it. Here is a memory trick that might help you. Think of a and an as introductions. You use them when you are introducing something or someone new. Think of the as a handshake. It is for when you already know each other. New thing equals introduction equals a or an. Known thing equals handshake equals the. Let me tell you a quick story. I once had a student who was brilliant, sharp mind, great vocabulary, excellent pronunciation. But every time she gave a presentation, her teacher kept marking her down for article errors. She was saying things like, "I will talk about importance of education," instead of, "I will talk about the importance of education." She was so frustrated because she worked so hard, and yet this tiny word kept tripping her up. Once she learned the introduction versus handshake trick, her accuracy jumped dramatically within just 2 weeks. The mistake did not disappear overnight, but she finally had a way to catch herself. Here is a question for you. Do articles exist in your native language? Comment below and tell me. I am always curious to know, and it actually helps explain a lot about why certain mistakes are more common in certain groups of learners. Now, articles are just the beginning, because coming up, we are going to talk about something that even B2 and C1 level learners get wrong all the time, and it involves a word you use every single day. Stay with me. Prepositions. Oh, prepositions. If articles are the small headache of English grammar, prepositions are the full-on migraine. Words like in, on, at, for, since, by, with, about. They seem simple, but the rules for using them are so inconsistent that even advanced learners make mistakes here constantly. Let us focus on one of the biggest preposition problems, using in, on, and at for time and place. Here's the general rule. For large periods of time, like years, months, and seasons, use in 2020, in January, in the summer. For specific days and dates, use on Monday, on the 5th of June, on Christmas Day. For specific times and precise moments, use at 3 o'clock, at midnight, at noon. This matters because if you mix these up, your sentences sound unnatural at best and confusing at worst. Imagine telling your boss, "Let us meet in Monday at the morning." A native speaker will wince a little. The correct version is, "Let's meet on Monday in the morning." Small words, big difference. The reason learners get this wrong is that prepositions in English often do not follow logic, they follow convention, meaning native speakers do not think about why they say in the morning but at night. They just say it because that is what sounds right after years of exposure. But you can learn the patterns, even if the rules are not always perfectly consistent. Let me walk you through some clear examples. You say, "I was born in 1995. Large time period, use in. You say, "My birthday is on the 12th of March. Specific date, use on. You say, "The meeting starts at 9 a.m. Specific clock time, use at." Now for place. She lives in Nigeria. Large area, like a country or city, use in. The book is on the table. Surface contact, use on. I will meet you at the airport. Specific location or point, use at. Here is your practice moment. Look around where you are right now and describe 3 things using in, on, and at. For example, I am sitting in my room. My phone is on the table. I will be at school at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Pause the video and try it. Say it out loud. Saying it out loud is
what makes it stick. Here is a memory trick for the time rule. Think of it like zooming in on a map. You start far away, that is in, big picture, big time. You zoom in to a specific spot, that is on, a day, a date. You zoom all the way in to an exact point, that is at, a precise time or place. Far away equals in. Zooming in equals on. Exact point equals at. Here is something that honestly surprised me when I first learned it. Did you know that English has more prepositions than almost any other major European language? And unlike vocabulary words which follow somewhat predictable patterns, prepositions are almost entirely idiomatic, meaning you cannot translate them from your language and expect them to work. This is why even fluent speakers sometimes freeze when choosing between interested in versus interested about. The correct one is interested in, by the way. The mistake I see most often? People say, "I am waiting since 1 hour," when the correct version is, "I have been waiting for 1 hour." Or they say, "She arrived to the party late," instead of "She arrived at the party late." These feel random, and they kind of are, which is exactly why exposure and repetition matter more than memorization when it comes to prepositions. Tell me in the comments, which preposition gives you the most trouble? I want to know. And depending on your answers, I might do a full dedicated episode just on prepositions. Now, let us keep that momentum going, because next we are getting into something that trips up learners at every single level: verb tenses. Verb tenses, specifically the difference between the simple past and the present perfect. This is the one that causes so much confusion, so many arguments in grammar classes, and so many errors in both speaking and writing. Let us settle this once and for all. Simple past is used for actions that are finished, and you know when they happened. Present perfect is used when the action is connected to the present, either because it just happened, because it has some effect on now, or because the time period is not finished yet. This matters because these two tenses send completely different messages. I ate and I have eaten seem almost the same, but they are not. I ate breakfast means it is done, finished, in the past, separate from now. I have eaten breakfast means it happened at some point before now, and right now it is relevant. Maybe because you are not hungry, maybe because you just finished. The connection to the present is the key. Here is where the confusion comes from. Many languages do not have a present perfect tense. They use one past tense for everything. So learners translate directly and always land on simple past, even when present perfect is needed. Real examples. Did you ever visit Paris? This sounds slightly unnatural. The correct version with present perfect is, have you ever visited Paris? Because ever connects to your whole life up until now, which includes the present. I have lived in Lagos for 5 years. I still live there, present connection. I lived in Lagos for 5 years implies I moved away, finished, past only. She has just finished her homework. Just finished, immediately relevant to now. She finished her homework an hour ago, specific time in the past, simple past is correct. Here is your practice moment. Answer this question out loud, using the present perfect. What is something interesting you have done in your life? Start your sentence with, I have. Go ahead, pause, and try it. Memory trick time.
Think of the present perfect as a bridge. One end of the bridge is in the past, where the action happened. The other end connects to the present, to now, to you, to this moment. If the action has a bridge to now, use present perfect. If it is an island, isolated in the past with a specific time, use simple past. Past island equals simple past. Bridge to now equals present perfect. Here is a funny story that illustrates this perfectly. A learner once sent me an email and wrote, I studied English since 3 years. There are 2 mistakes there. First, it should be I have studied, not I studied, because the action connects to now. She was still studying. Second, it should be for 3 years, not since 3 years, because since is used with a specific point in time, like since 2021, while for is used with a duration, like for 3 years. It is the kind of sentence that made perfect sense in her head, translated from her native language. But to a native English ear, it needed quite a bit of fixing. But here is the encouraging thing, and I really want you to hear this. She noticed her mistake the moment I explained it, because the logic, once you understand it, actually makes sense. You are not memorizing random rules. You are learning how English thinks. Do you find present perfect confusing? Have you been using simple past when you should have used present perfect? Drop a comment and be honest. There is absolutely no judgment here. This is a safe space to learn. All right, we are past the halfway point and you are doing great. But I have to tell you, the next mistake we are covering might be the one that surprises you most, because it is hiding in sentences you think are completely correct. Subject-verb agreement. Specifically, what happens when sentences get a little complicated and your brain loses track of the subject. This is one of those mistakes that learners make, not because they do not know the rule, but because longer sentences throw them off. The basic rule is simple. A singular subject takes a singular verb. A plural subject takes a plural verb. She works hard. One person, singular verb. They work hard. Multiple people, plural verb. You know this. But what happens when the sentence gets longer? This is where the mistakes sneak in. Here is an example. The quality of the products is very high. Some learners would write
Are because they just heard products, which is plural. But the actual subject is quality, which is singular, so the verb is. Here is another one. A number of students are struggling. Here, even though number is singular, the phrase a number of is used to mean many, so it takes a plural verb. But the number of students is increasing. Here, the number is the subject, and it takes a singular verb. Yes, this is genuinely tricky. Why does this matter? Because in formal writing, academic English, business emails, and professional communication, subject-verb agreement errors immediately signal that you are still developing your English. It is one of those things that educated native speakers notice quickly. Let me give you more examples to make this concrete. Everyone in the classes is responsible for their own work. Everyone is always singular, even though it sounds like a lot of people. The news is shocking. News looks plural, but it is actually an uncountable singular noun. $5 is not enough. We are talking about a single amount, so singular verb. My friend and her sister are coming to visit. 2 people, plural verb. Practice moment. Here are
2 sentences. I want you to decide, is the verb correct or incorrect? Sentence 1. The list of items are on the table. Sentence 2. Neither of the answers is correct. Pause right now and say your answers out loud. Ready for the answers? Sentence 1 is incorrect. It should be the list is, because list is the subject, not items. Sentence 2 is correct. Neither is always singular. Memory trick. When you write or say a longer sentence, try to mentally strip away the extra information and get back to the core. Ask yourself, what is the main subject? What is the main verb? Do they match? Strip it down, match them up. I will tell you something that stuck with me early on when I was developing my own understanding of English grammar. A teacher once said, "Do not let the words between the subject and verb distract you. They are just passengers. The subject and verb are driving the sentence." I never forgot that. The words in between are just passengers. Subject and verb are in the driver's seat. What about you? Have you ever written a sentence and then second-guessed whether to use is or are? Tell me in the comments. I promise you, you are not alone. This trips up
even very advanced learners. Now, let us get into our deep dive on the 3 biggest mistakes, the ones that come up again and again across all levels. I want to be very specific here so that you leave this section with clear, actionable corrections. The first big mistake is confusing make and do. Learners constantly mix these two up because in many languages there is just one word for both. But in English, they are used in very different contexts. Make is generally used when you are creating, producing, or constructing something. Do is used for activities, tasks, and general actions. Incorrect, I did a mistake. Correct, I made a mistake. Incorrect, she made her homework. Correct, she did her homework. Incorrect, can you do me a favor? Actually, this one is correct. Do me a favor is right. But can you make me a coffee is also correct because you are creating something. There are set expressions you simply need to learn. Make a decision. Do the dishes. Make a noise. Do your best. Make a suggestion. Do business. The more you read and listen to English, the more these will start to feel natural. The second big mistake is using since and for
incorrectly with time. We touched on this earlier, but let us go deeper. Since needs a specific starting point, a moment in time. For needs a duration, a length of time. Incorrect, I have been waiting since 2 hours. Correct, I have been waiting for 2 hours. Incorrect, she has lived here for 2019. Correct, she has lived here since 2019. The test is simple. Can you replace the word with starting from? Then use since. Can you replace it with during a period of? Then use for. The third big mistake is overusing the word very. Learners use very to intensify everything, very big, very tired, very happy, very bad, when English actually has a rich vocabulary of stronger, more specific words that do the job better and make your English sound far more natural and impressive. Instead of very big, try enormous or massive. Instead of very tired, try exhausted. Instead of very happy, try delighted or thrilled. Instead of very bad, try terrible or awful. Instead of very good, try excellent or outstanding. These single powerful words replace 2 words and instantly upgrade the quality and sophistication of your English. Native
speakers rarely say very hungry. They say starving. They rarely say very cold. They say freezing. Start hunting for these stronger words, and your English will level up noticeably. Before we close out, let us do a quick recap of everything we covered today. 1. Articles.
Remember the introduction versus handshake trick. New information gets a or an. Known information gets the. 2. Prepositions of time and place. Think of zooming in for large areas and periods, on for surfaces and specific days, at for exact points in time and place. 3. Simple past versus present perfect. If the action is a bridge to the present, use present perfect. If it is isolated on an island in the past, use simple past. 4. Subject-verb agreement. Strip the sentence down to its core. Do not let the passengers confuse the driver. 5. Make versus do, since versus for, and replacing very with stronger vocabulary words. That is a lot of ground we covered today, and the fact that you made it to this point tells me something about you. You are serious about improving, and that is honestly the biggest factor in language learning. Not talent, not natural ability, commitment. The fact that you showed up today, stayed till the end, and engaged with the practice moments, that is what builds real fluency over time. You should feel proud of yourself. Here's my final thought for you today. Learning English is not about being perfect. It is about being understood, being confident, and continuously growing. Every single mistake you make is actually proof that you are trying, that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone, and that you are using the language. Mistakes are not failure, they are feedback. And now you have the tools to turn that feedback into real progress. If this video helped you, please give it a like. It genuinely helps more learners find this content. Subscribe to Daily English Lab podcast if you have not already, because every week we bring you practical, real-world English lessons that actually make a difference. And share this video with one person who is learning English. You might just give them the breakthrough they have been waiting for. In the comments, I want you to do one last thing. Tell me, which of today's 7 mistakes do you think you make most often? No judgment, just honesty. Your comment might become the topic of a future episode. Next time on Daily English Lab podcast, we are going to talk about something that completely changes how you sound in English: natural linking and connected speech. Why native speakers seem to speak so fast, and how you can train your ear and your mouth to keep up. You do not want to miss it. Until then, keep practicing, keep showing up, and remember, every day you spend with English is a day you get better. This is Daily English Lab podcast. I will see you in the next one.